When talking about game modeling, one thing comes to mind: assets. Since I want to make my little Animal Crossing-like video game, the purpose of this video is to show you how I try to develop assets for my Gothic video game. Yes, that's the name of these creatures. I'm a creative person, I promise. Today, I'm going to model the furniture to film my little Gothic castle made in the video right here for my little wizard cat designed in the video here. So, first things first, we need to pick one piece of furniture to begin with. So for me, a very easy thing to begin with would be the candle. So, let's begin. For this candle, what we need to do is begin with a very simple circle and just extrude following the silhouette. I'm going to take the circle and just shape it out. If you recognize Blender-based proportions, you can probably imagine that this candle is quite big, but we'll let that one slip since I don't really know the proper size this candle should have. So I'll be scaling my assets once they are done, and I'm building Katastara's room. One of my main challenges turned out to be these spirals to the side, which only makes me think that working on the rest of these assets will need more width for me to work, because let's remember, I added a lot of circles. However, the candle is now done, and we can move on to our next asset. By the way, if you're enjoying this, you should like and sub because there are many videos on this topic planned ahead. While I'm enticed to model the chair, I'm still afraid of its bends and turns, so I decided to make the table. This is a very easy thing to begin with. Think of the average table. You get a square and 4 sticks holding it up. We just have to make our table longer. Bend it a little. For the legs, I'm thinking of making separate circles and finding a clever way of joining them to the sticks. So again, I began with a circle because that way, I save the step of rounding up the corners of this table. Then all we do is extend the table, fill it in properly, and add a cut to carve it up with this base done. All we need to do is extrude it down. We'll extrude the lower faces inside to make this rim of faces here from which the legs will extrude. If we look here, this leg is a very straight line. This other one is too skinny, but like that can be fixed. And also, the connection in the middle is too straight. I'll try and make it adapt to the bend on the table so it doesn't look weird, but first we have to extrude our leg. I'll thin it out a little more and adjust this little detail at the bottom. So now I have the connections, and I am getting cold feet, but I have to do it eventually. Just let me get the rim at the top of the table and please let this be
In and out, 20 minutes adventure.
Alright, like I said before, I'll just get the base mesh to do the circles inside. So, to begin, we need to get the first 3 circles in this smaller side. What I'm thinking right now that could be a bigger problem is these smaller holes here that are not circular at all. But we'll see. While I'm fighting these circles, I can't help but remember when the Animal Crossing New Horizons craze began during lockdown. With what little savings I had, I decided to buy it because I had nothing to do, and to my surprise, I fell in love with the game and all of its characters. Somehow they're so full of life. Every interaction is so wholesome, and I don't know, I want more of that. So since I've been wanting to get into game development for a while, I thought this would be a cool project to do. This way we get the Goblins while also interacting with the world and sharing it with them. Honestly, I think we're still falling short on aesthetics like this. I mean, that's how the series began with my girlfriend asking for more interesting Gothic inspired characters, which is why I'm pretty inspired to make this little project come to life. So let's power through these table legs. Alright, so this looks good. What I'm trying to do is matching the vertices of this face with the vertices of the circles so the joining is easier. Alright, so the outline of this is done. However, we still need to see how to duplicate this at least some other 3 times. I'll try to duplicate and adjust to every side of the table before extruding to get thickness of the ornamentation. So this looks good. All I have to do is extrude the vertices and get the base pillars in the table to match. call this a success, but I still have to do the other sides. Oh my god, I regret doing this thing. Sorry, let's power through. That was a long time to work on this piece, but it is essentially done, technically. I'm going to smooth it out a little with the proportional editing and the sculpt tool, so this looks a little better. Okay, not so bad. Let's move on to the chair. Luckily for us, the level of difficulty lowers down from here, though I'm quite bad at modeling chairs, so please no hate. Like the table, we begin with a circle and extrude the leg. Unlike the table, we extrude the rest for the back and for the arms. And one good thing I did for me is to just make this detail at the legs simple. However, the armrest details are probably more complex than the ones on the table. Why do I do this to myself? Anyways, here we have the circles. So give me some time to adjust this and promise me you'll be okay with the end result. As you can see, my pattern response here was to just pull these vertices into the shape, just brute force it. And yeah, I guess there is a better, simpler way, but I'm just like this, you know, I'm broken. Nobody can fix me. Alright, I'll stop saying dumb stuff. Let's time lapse. Yeah, this looks good. Honestly, a little faster than I imagined, so I'll just little and then extrude to fill in the space. I promise that the next assets will be easier and faster than this. That's that. This actually looks pretty nice. I'll do the hover cable for the magic crystal. This one will be 100% faster. It's just a cylinder with some spikes in it. Don't worry about it, but look at that. We still have the mirror modifier. Let's take advantage of this. I'll cut 3/4 of this circle and just go from there. This is epic. So yeah, I guess this is done. I could try and do half spheres for the moons, or just texture paint them.
I don't know.
I'll try doing the spheres. Hold on a sec. Well, it does work. Let's move on. Since the base is done, I want to go ahead and do the crystal. After this, everything is simpler and simpler. So I'll just get a cube, do some cuts, and try to give it a hard surface organic look. And I did it. Let's go back. Yeah, that makes more sense. And I pooped it again. Dang, do I really suck that much? Like and comment, you suck if you're enjoying the video. Kidding. Well, I mean, do leave a like and a comment, but be nice. At least to the other commenters. I can take it. Anyways, this crystal looks good enough, so I'm marking it off the list. Alright, so the last thing I can actually model outside of the pre-existing room is the bookshelves with its books. But honestly, this is pretty much done. So this is the moment where I just add all of my assets and scale them properly into the room. For those of you wondering, yes, that means I'm adjusting the candles. Finally! Whoops! No more proportional editing. Well, it seems everything modeled is very big. And the crystal was not long enough, but it can be fixed. There we go, the candle is fixed, though I actually got scared when I saw how huge the table turned out. Look at the size of this chair, damn, only time I've seen a chair this big was at an art display. That looks about right. Let me fill in the space before I move on to the bookshelf. that's the room. Let me set up the camera for the B-roll. Cool, this is an awesome view. Let's try the animation. I should have thought about that. Yep, animation is okay. Let's adjust the animation curves. Awesome, awesome. Now the bookshelves. For ease of modeling, I need to separate the walls from the room. But don't worry, it can be reattached. Let's extrude the bookshelves and rename it meshes because I don't know what really is here. Let's extrude the bookshelves up and oh, we're going to have more problems with the camera again, right? Anyways, here are the bookshelves. Pretty quick, and honestly, I don't want to do the books, but I'll try, just for you, just this time. Yep, those are going to be my books. No, yeah, I know these are just boxes. Just let me rest, please. Well, I'm still new to game development. Looking at this room finish makes me feel confident enough on my skills to try and get this project on the run. I sincerely believe that it is all about willpower. I mean, I've done weirder things, and like everyone else, I'm human. And to me that means that everything that has been achieved in our history, I can achieve as well. Because at the end of the day, I'm as human as everyone who's ever done anything cool. And so are you, aren't you? But yeah, here are the final results. Very pretty, right? Be sure to come back next week to see Katastara get her magical staff, a new mesh for the video game I'm planning, and her little spirit companions. And that would be it for this video. By the way, I'll leave a link to my Ko-fi page in which you can find Katastara's model if you want to try and print her for yourself. It would be a nice way to support the channel and these projects. As always, thank you so very much for watching until the end. You know the drill, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date with this project as well as my JoJo reanimation project. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to add to Katastara's house, or if you prefer more in-depth explanation. Have a very awesome day, and I'll be seeing you around, pals!